So we did a group stage review and a quarterfinal prediction review, and the quarterfinals are now complete. We're going to look at them. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on them, and then we will look ahead to the semi-finals where we have some really good clashes. So get in the comments below your predictions for the semi-final of the Copa America and any of your thoughts you had on the quarterfinal clashes. I will caveat this with, because of the way the scheduling works, I had to get the Euros videos out as well, so it's probably a little bit late by the time you're watching this. One of the semi-final games would have most likely already taken place, but everything I say will still be relevant anyway, and we can see how I did in my prediction, I guess. And you can clown me in the comments if I was really wrong. So, anyways, let's talk about the quarterfinals first before we get into those semis. So we'll start with the first one, which was Argentina 1, Ecuador 1, with Argentina advancing 4-2 in penalties. An absolutely crazy game. A lot of drama in this game, Martinez gave Argentina the lead after 35 minutes, and Argentina held on in normal time they were on the ropes, to be honest, a little bit. Ecuador had a penalty, and Valencia had one which he missed, and Kevin Rodriguez in the 91st minute, back post, ball comes in and he heads in, and Ecuador snatch it in the 91st minute, which is absolutely crazy, to send it to extra time. And, not extra time. This is one thing I wanted to highlight actually, which I really love about Copa America, is there's no extra time. Honestly, I think extra time needs to go, if I'm being honest. They should do it like the Copa America does, so no extra time, and then in the final there is extra time. I like that because, quite frankly, nothing really happens in extra time. The only time I can remember is the World Cup final, where France and Argentina both scored 1 goal each, but besides that, pretty much every single time it goes to extra time, nothing will happen and it will just go straight to pens. So just get rid of that extra time and go straight to pens, like what happens in the Copa America and happened in this game. And Argentina were the benefactors of that, because Lionel Messi, it looked like at one point they were going to go out. Messi stepped up first and he tried a Panenka and he hit the bar, and you're thinking, oh no, Argentina going out, your best penalty taker is now missed. But Emi Martinez comes up clutch yet again to save Messi, to save Argentina in a major tournament. He saved, I think, 2 penalties in the shootout, and Argentina scored the rest of their pens. So Argentina advanced, but Emi Martinez, wow, this guy, for Argentina particularly, actually just in general, did it for Villa as well in the Conference League. Penalty saving, he is up there with the very best. On the big stage, he absolutely loves it. He was doing his dances as well afterwards. He loves it. He absolutely loves it, and they have a real weapon, Argentina. Argentina, honestly, might be the team which is the best nation in the world at penalty shootouts. They might be, because I know Messi missed in this, but generally they're very good at penalties, as we saw at the World Cup, right? And they of course have one of the best shot stoppers in terms of penalty saving as well. So even if Messi misses or someone misses, they know they have someone there in Emi Martinez who will save them. So Emi Martinez comes up clutch, and Argentina narrowly go through. Unconvincing performance, to say the least, by them. Ecuador played pretty well in this game, but Argentina, look, they managed to get the job done in the end. But I think, hopefully for their sake, this is a bit of a wake-up call that, they've kind of been sleepwalking their way through this tournament, as they've not really come up against any really tough competition, and most of their games have been quite poor. This game, they were close to going out because this is a bit of a kick up the backside for them, and they can really kick on in this tournament now because they're going to need to step up a little bit because the performances have been a bit mediocre. Lionel Messi, he is carrying a bit of a knock, but he has not been up to his best as well, and we really need him to step up. Now we enter into the semi-final and final stages of the tournament, but yeah, defensively Argentina have looked solid and they do find a way to get the job done, which is all that matters. As for Ecuador, look, they gave a real good account of themselves, a really good account of themselves. Of course, sending it to penalties is fantastic, and losing on pens is heartbreaking. Losing on a lottery like that is just disappointing, especially when they missed their first penalty and it's Messi who missed as well. But look, if you're Ecuador, the real damage was done in the groups. For Ecuador, the real damage was done in the groups because they should have topped their group, and if they had topped that group, they would have got an easier draw than having to come up against the champions Argentina right away. And it was always going to be a difficult ask. They did go out on their shield, and they did do really well given they were playing Argentina. But as I said, they messed up in the group stage. If they had just won their group and did their job in there, then they would have got an easier draw and got into the semis. Look, overall, if you had told me at the start of the tournament they would finish second and then go out in the quarterfinals, I would say that's a really bad tournament for Ecuador given how good their squad is. But given the circumstances, and you say, okay, they lost to Argentina in the quarters and they took them all the way to pens, I would say, okay, that's fine. That's not a bad tournament, but yeah, as I said, they messed up in the group stages, but they gave a good account of themselves and they can be proud, and honestly, they were unfortunate that they didn't even win this game. Okay, next up, we go to Venezuela 1, Canada 1, another 1-1, and another penalty shootout. This time, Canada beating Venezuela 4-3 on penalties to advance to the semi-finals, and I mean, what a story this is. Canada. I think I have a couple Canadians watching. Get in the comments below, because what an achievement this is for them. What an achievement for Canada. I think this is actually their first ever Copa America they're featuring in. Their first ever one, and they're in the semi-finals. They are 2 games away from winning this whole thing. Like, that is nuts. That is absolutely crazy, and they're flying that flag high for CONCACAF North America, and oh my god, it is even more embarrassment for US, because this is on US soil, and Canada, you are meant to be the little bros for USA are meant to be the big bro, but Canada have gone out to US soil and are in the semi-finals of the Copa, while USA have been grouped, and Canada, at the very least, will finish 4th place at their first ever Copa America. Like, that's mad. That is mad. And to top it off, they're doing it with an American coach as well, Jesse March, coaching them. American coach, what an amazing job he's done. Honestly, the US messed up by not getting him as manager, because Jesse March is such a talented coach, and he's proven it here. He's not actually been in this Canada job for a long time, but he's come in and transformed this team in such a little space of time, and they've managed to get into the semi-finals, and they fully deserve it, because they were the better team in my opinion. The game sort of ebbed and flowed. Canada started well, got their goal, and then after Salomon Rondon scored a fantastic goal, he had a great tournament. Personally, Rondon rolled back the years there, but after that, then Venezuela had some chances. It was a fairly equal game, but I thought Canada overall were the better side. And Canada, of course, win on penalty shootout. Ismail Kone, I believe, scored the winning pen. And yeah, just incredible from Canada to get to the semi-finals. And if they can get a third place, because I'll play the third place playoff if they lose in the semis, but we'll get onto that. That in its own, just getting like the third place black, insane. That would be like the best achievement they've ever done in Canadian football history, and this alone getting to the semis is, and huge credit And you could see at this Copa America that this team is growing, this team is getting so much better. And I think the main goal for them, really, this Copa America was sort of a building block for them to get that experience, to get that confidence going into World Cup qualification, because they're doing quite well in there, and they're the only South America side who's never qualified for a World Cup, so that's the main goal for them. And I think this performance at the Copa America has proven that they are definitely capable of qualifying for that World Cup, and I would back them to do it because they look like a really good team. Salomon Rondon, as I said, had a great tournament in front of goal. Helena, Martinez, Sotaldo, a lot of their players have been absolutely superb. And this Copa America, unfortunate that it's ended like this, but they can be very proud of their performance, and definitely can build upon this result. Canada, though, go marching on into the semi-finals, which is absolutely crazy. Not sure how many people expected them to be in the semi-finals at the start of this tournament. I certainly had them getting grouped. Next up, we had Colombia 5, Panama 0. An absolute clinic put on by Colombia, who batter Panama and ease into the semi-finals. What a statement, absolute statement from Colombia, Colombia have been by far and away the best team of this Copa in terms of performances, results. They've been superb, absolutely superb. Every team they've come up against, they have played so well against. And this was another one. And you can't, you'll look at this scoreline and be like, they're playing Panama. Like, you can't read too much into this. Let's not forget what happened when the US played Panama. They lost. What happened when Uruguay played Panama? Uruguay got the win eventually, but they made real hard work of it. Colombia absolutely battered Panama 5-0. Made it look easy. Panama did have a couple opportunities, to be fair. Probably unlucky not to get a goal. And Panama, by the way, their discipline this game was awful. They gave away 2 penalties, which should have been 3, because this Rios goal was funny, because the ref's pretty much blown for the pen. Like, I don't think he blew the whistle, but he was about to do it, and then Rios just smashed him a goal quickly. It was a great strike, and the ref was like, oh yeah, forget the pen, just take the goal. But yeah, either way, Colombia, absolutely superb. Lucho Diaz, he's been amazing at this Copa America and continues to be, but the main guy is this man. This man is rolling back the years. James Rodriguez has been by far and away the best player at this Copa America. I think he's got 5 assists and 2 goals now at this Copa. He has been insane. Don't know what it is, but when he plays for Colombia, he just turns next level, and I really love to see it. You really do, because players like James Rodriguez have sort of been phased out of modern day football, but it's nice to see him and show him that with players like that, when they have the quality, when they're a quality baller, there's always a place for them in a squad. If you can get the right system and get the best out of them, then you have a talented player there. We've seen it with players like Isco, for example, sort of revitalise his career at Real Betis. James Rodriguez is one of those who's doing that right now at this Copa America. He's in the right system which suits him, and he's balling out. He's playing superb, and if Colombia are going to win this thing, then James Rodriguez is going to be a big part of that. He's been amazing. Munoz has been incredible. Davison Sanchez again, somehow amazing. As I said, Diaz great. Johan Cordoba, good to see him get a goal for his confidence. And yeah, just overall Colombia have been amazing. I think they're on extended unbeaten streak. I don't know how long it is now, but it's a very long one, and yeah, they put out a massive statement. As for Panama, look, obviously disappointing to go out in that fashion, get battered, but at the end of the day, it's still an amazing achievement for them to get to the quarterfinal stage. I don't think they've ever got that far. So, to get out of their group ahead of USA is insane in itself, and look, this result should not gloss over the fact that they have overachieved at this tournament by getting out of the group. So, credit to Panama, but Colombia were just a bit of a step ahead of them. up we have Uruguay versus Brazil, our final quarterfinal game. 0-0, and Uruguay, another penalty shootout, and Uruguay came out on top. So, this was the game which I was really looking forward to. Of course, it was the biggest tie out of all of them. Uruguay came out on top. I actually predicted that this game would go to pens, but I thought Brazil would win on pens because Brazil generally are pretty good on penalties. Alisson's pretty good at penalty saving as well. He did save a pen, but Douglas Luiz missed, and who else missed? Andres Pereira missed as well, unfortunately for Brazil. And Brazil went out on penalties. Uruguay, though, I mean, in general, the game was not the best game. It was a pretty ugly game. The amount of fouls, look at that, 26 for Uruguay, 15 for Brazil. It was a proper South American clash, just so physical, so many fouls. There was a red card as well, and Hernandez with a red card in the game as well. So Uruguay, from that point, the last 15 minutes, they just held on with 10 men. Brazil tried to push for a goal, but they couldn't really get it. It was quite an even game. I wasn't really totally convinced by Uruguay in this game. I actually thought Brazil was slightly the better side. Uruguay didn't create too much. Darwin Núñez had one header really, which you maybe could have done better with, but that was about it. The worrying thing for Uruguay is Ronaldo Araujo did go out injured in this game. Don't know if he'll be back for the semis, but we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, a draw is probably even. It was a little bit of lack of quality in this game. Brazil going forward struggled quite a bit. There was a stat. Apparently, Endrick, the only pass he completed was kick-off in the game, which is pretty crazy stat. But come on, guys, he's like 17. Let's not clown him that much, right? Anyways, it went to penalties. Agate scored the winning pen, and yeah, look, if I'm talking about Brazil, on paper, going out in the quarterfinals for Brazil is embarrassing. That should never happen. That's a disgrace. But if I'm being real, if you're being objective, it's not been that bad of a tournament for Brazil. I think they were drawn in a tough group. Everyone knew going into this, right? This is not the most talented Brazil team. This is not the most talented Brazil team by any means. And they got to a semis, they got to a final. That would be a really good achievement if you were being objective, right? Because of the turmoil they've gone through, the amount of managers they've gone through as well in the last year. So, look, they drew to Colombia. They came second in their group, which is a bit disappointing. I mean, if you're being really harsh, you can look at it another way and say the only win they got of this Copa was against Paraguay, which is pretty bad. But they went out versus Uruguay, and it was on penalties, and arguably were the better team in the game. And they didn't have Vinicius Jr. as well for the game. He was suspended. So if you look at it objectively, it's like, okay, that's not that bad. Like, Uruguay, a great side. There's no shame going out to them. It's just, of course, it's Brazil, right? So losing in the quarterfinals is shocking, is poor, and obviously Uruguay had 10 men for about 15 minutes and Brazil couldn't capitalise. So yeah, overall mixed emotions. I think if you're a Brazilian, I do think they should stick with Doranville Jr. I think he is slowly building something with this Brazil team, and I did see some promising performances at this Copa America by Brazil, but yeah, overall disappointing for them. Disappointing. Uruguay, though, managed to get the job done in the end. Not the most convincing. Marcelo Bielsa, on a personal note, a really good one for him. Finally beat Brazil in a major tournament. I don't think he's ever done it, and he's faced on quite a few times, but he's managed to get over that hump. And yeah, bit ugly from Uruguay, but they managed to get the job done, and that's a huge win over Brazil. Right, let's talk about the semi-finals then. So we have Argentina versus Canada now. We have Uruguay versus Colombia. because we have a repeat of the group stage game between Argentina and Canada, who are of course in the same group. And if Brazil had won that penalty shootout, we also would have had a repeat here of Brazil and Colombia facing each other again. But luckily Uruguay won, so we do have at least one different group game. Argentina, Canada. Yeah, look, if I'm being real, Canada don't have much of a chance. I think their fairy tale might come to an end here. Probably will come to an end. It should come to an end. If Argentina don't win this, then that is crazy. Canada's best hope is to send this to penalties, hold out for like a 0-0. Canada's defence has been pretty good at this tournament so far. But I think they did play each other in the groups. Argentina did win this game. They did win, I believe, 2-0. Yeah, but Canada did have some good chances in that game. Canada gave them a real good game. But I actually think them playing again is going to hinder Canada more so than Argentina, because Argentina are now going to say, okay, we're going to respect you a bit more. We're not going to get thrown off guard by you. We know exactly how you're going to play, set up, and we're going to have to be on it. And now we're in a semi-final. This was a group stage game. Things are totally different, right? Things are totally different from that. So, yeah, I'd see Argentina winning this, but as I said, Canada, their best hope is to send this to a penalty shootout. In my opinion, get a 0-0. Just be rigid, defensively tight, and try to get that to penalties. It's the best hope for Canada, but honestly, there's no shame if they lose to Argentina, of course. But I'm expecting Argentina to win. I'd say another 2-0 victory for Argentina. I think Messi might turn up for this game, finally. Okay, this is the game though which I'm looking forward to. Uruguay versus Colombia. Absolutely fantastic time between two teams who are in form, two teams who have impressed, or I say two teams who have impressed. Colombia have been amazing. Uruguay, a bit meh. Like against the US they were quite poor. Against Brazil, a bit mid. They've not been amazing. They've not sparkled yet at this tournament, but they've managed to get the job done. They've sort of just grinded their way through the results. Colombia, on the other hand, have sparkled at this tournament, but coming up against this Uruguay team is going to be very different ask to any teams they've faced before. As I said, Uruguay kind of have a bit of problems at the back. Araujo out injured. Nandes, the right back, is also suspended, so that right hand side is going to have a little bit of a shake up. And of course, that's coming up against Luis Diaz on the left, so maybe that's something Colombia can target. James Rodriguez, can he step up again against Uruguay? Uruguay's defence is pretty solid, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's going to be a really tough affair. I think it'll be really tight. I'm not expecting too many goals. I could see this going to a penalty shootout, to be honest, but I do think they're just riding such a good wave right now. The positivity around them is so good. I've not been convinced by Uruguay's performances versus Brazil and USA. Colombia's performance versus Brazil was really promising. They've got a lot of confidence now from that last Panama win, whereas Uruguay sort of just scraped by through the skin of their teeth. I think Colombia are going to win this. I did back before the tournament that we'll get an Argentina-Uruguay final, but I'm changing it now. And I'm going to say Colombia are going to beat Uruguay here. I'm going to say it's going to be 1-0 Colombia, 1-0 Colombia. And we have a Colombia-Argentina final. But those are my predictions. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments below. We'll see if I am right, and we'll come back to this. We'll preview the final once that is ready. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you have. Consider subscribing, and I will see